In this video, we are going to see that you can import something and export it at the same time. Let's show you what I mean. Here we have a module file which is going to wrap around a point class. This is going to be representing a point in a two-dimensional space, nothing new here. And it is a point class, but we can use this to set up a line class. And as you may already know, a line is made up of 2 points. So here we have a line class which is going to be made up of 2 points. This is a class we are modeling, but the main point here is that in this line module, to be able to use the point module, we have to import it, and it is what we do here. But at the same time, we are exporting this module to be used by other people who may have imported the line module, because by default, what I import in my module for use is not exported for other people that import my module. In other words, just because you imported a point from line here doesn't mean that if you import line, you get access to point. But by importing here, we are making sure that anyone who imports line will have access to point and will be able to use it. This is the main idea in this video here. Once you have your modules defined, you can head over in the main file. You see we are only importing line, but we will have access to point and be able to use it. Let's head over to our IDE and see this in action. Okay, here we are in our IDE. The project is 48.8 export import. We will be creating our files. Let's go to the repository and see the files that we have to deal with. I would recommend you read the README file here and see instructions on what makes up our project and what instructions we have to compile the files using any of the compilers that we have supported here. And we have a few files, line.ixx and point.ixx. Let's create these files here. So we want to add a new item. It's going to be a C++ file, a C++ module file, and it is going to be point.ixx, and we need to also add line.ixx. Let's do that. Line.ixx. We have this in place. We have the main CPP file which is going to import all these files. We can head over to line or point. Let's start by point because it is simpler. Copy. Let's go back to our IDE and use point, delete, and put in the content. Again, make sure it is export module point. This is going to define a point module. Let's go back and grab line and we copy and we put the code inside our line file, delete whatever it is we had in and paste in the new content. Head over to the main CPP file and put in the content as well. Main.cpp, we copy it. It should say copied. Come back to our editor, remove whatever it is we had in and put in the code. Again, this is using C++ 20 modules, so we have to enable C++ 20 for this project. Language, C++ 20 here. It is what you should choose. And go to General, scan sources for module dependencies, and you should set this to yes. Apply, okay, and if you build, this should build. Okay, build successful, and we can run this project. Make sure you see the order things are compiled. Then again, we compile IOStream again. After that, we compile point because line will depend on point. So before we compile a line, we should compile point first. That's what we do here. We compile line, then we compile main.cpp. Now that you have seen how to do this using this IDE, if you don't care about GCC or Clang, you can move on to the next lecture. But I am going to show you how to compile with these compilers because I really like it. I think it's fun. It is a great way to learn about these things here. Let's go to the instructions for Clang. You can take a moment to read through them and really see the order. For example, for GCC, the F modules TS flag here enables C++ 20 modules. And we pass the C++ system header here to tell the compiler that this is a system header we are compiling. Again, if you want to learn more about these flags, you should read the documentation for your favorite compiler. Here, I am just going to give you the bare minimum to compile the files that we have here. Let's grab the command to compile our header unit. We copy it, come back to our IDE and show the terminal by coming to view and hitting terminal. We go to developer PowerShell here and do ls to see what we have inside our project. We have our line module, our point module, and the main CPP file. We can compile our header unit. If we do that, this is going to create a GCM cache header folder. If we do this, this is going to create a GCM cache folder, which is going to be containing all these header units. Let's go back and compile the point module. So let's copy the code, the command, come back here and put it in. Let's go back and compile the next module file, which is line.ixx. We come back here and we use the command, and the last one is going to put everything together and generate our binary. Let's copy and put that in place. And if we compile, we should see Rooster here. And if we run it, it is going to say whatever is said in our main file. Before we do any more, let's go to line and make sure we are not importing here. Let's suppose we are only importing. And if we do this and try to compile again, let's see what changed. Only the line file changed. So let's try to compile again and see what we get. So let's go to line here and do G++ and whatever is needed there. If we try to compile it, let's see what we get. It is going to compile because there is nothing wrong with it. But if we try to compile main again, you see what happens. In main, we are trying to use the point class. This class is part of the point module, but we are not importing the point module. You can expect something to go wrong, but let's try using GCC to see this, and it is going to give you a bunch of errors. This is what you can see. Even if we try to compile using the compiler from Microsoft, it is going to give us a bunch of errors. You see 1 failed, 0 succeeded, and it is not going to give us, it is going to give us a bunch of errors that you can read through if you want. So if you want this to work, say export import, and it is going to import and export this for use by whoever might import the line module. Let's build again using the IDE from Microsoft. You can see that it is building. We can start without debugging to see our output. And if we compile again using the G++ compiler, let's go back and grab the commands. This may be tedious, but we need to do it. You really need this experience. Even if you do it once, it is going to help you out in your career as a developer. Many people will overlook this, but they really shouldn't. That's my opinion here. So let's compile the Rooster binary, and it is going to probably go through. And if we have a problem, we will try to fix it. Now the compilation is good. We can run Rooster, and it is going to go through. Now that we have seen GCC, we can look at how to use Clang on Windows. Again, it is going to be through these commands that you see here. Let's copy the one for Clang 16. For Clang 16 on Windows, we have to remember to use the command prompt. Don't use PowerShell. Otherwise, you will have problems and you will pull your hair. You don't want that, do you? Let's see dir to see what we have in there before we even do anything. I hop over to PowerShell so that I can clear my mess here. Let's remove any object files, remove Rooster, and remove the GCM folder because we don't want that. Now we can head over to command prompt and use the first command here to compile our header unit. So copy it and put it in place. And we grab the command to compile the point module. Notice that here we are using the name of the module. This is very important for Clang. We don't compile this into _point. Okay, we are using P because the name of the module starts with uppercase P. You really need to see this. This is important for Clang. So let's copy this and put that in place. So we can come here and compile our PCM file. And we need to compile the line PCM file again. So let's do this. Put in the command. Let's go back and see the next command. It is going to be generating the object file for the main file, the entry point file here. So let's do that. Let's grab the command to compile the point object file, put it in. Let's grab the command to compile the line file into an object file. And the last command is going to put everything back together to generate a rooster binary. Let's copy that and put that in place. And this is going to give us our rooster binary. If we do dir, you will see it listed here. And we can run it by saying rooster, and it is going to give us the output that we expect. We have successfully used the export import feature, and you can use it if it makes sense for whatever it is you are building with C++. Let's hop over to our Clang 18 living inside our Docker container. Let's do ls to see the files. You can list this in a nice way using the ALH option. And let's clean up, remove any PCM file that we don't want, remove any object files, and remove rooster. And if we list again, we should have a nice list of things that make up our project. Again, the meat of this project is made up of this set of files, main.line ixx, main.cpp, and point.ixx. The instructions to compile with Clang 18 are here, so all we have to do is copy these commands and paste them in one by one, which is what we are going to do. So let's copy this. The second one is going to be generating our point.pcm file. We put this in, hit enter, grab the next command, which is going to be compiling our line module into line.pcm, the BMI format for Clang, if I can say it like that. Let's go back and compile the main file into an object file. And we need to compile object files for our module files. So we start by point and we put this in. And we grab the command to compile line.o. We copy this and put that inside our terminal. And we grab the last command, which is going to be compiling the final binary. So let's do that and put that in place. Hit enter, do ls. We have our binary generated right here. And we can run it by saying rooster, and it is going to give us the output that we expect. You can try to remove the export here and see the errors you get with Clang, but I am going to leave that to you as an exercise. This is all I had to share in this lecture. I hope you found it interesting. I am stopping here, and I will see you in the next one.